Today we are working on ATX PC power supply. This power supply is bad as the complaint is the PC was off, it was not working, all of a sudden it went off, and this ATX power supply, there is one way that you have to replace it, or otherwise on another way you have to repair it. So I'm going to repair it, I'm not going to junk it, instead I'm repairing it. So here is the repair for this particular power supply. Here is the PC power supply. You can see the rating is something bloody ATX 500 watt. They are not 500 watt, they are just writing on this bloody scrap. So just you can see these are the inputs. This is sometimes before was the output for the monitor, and this is the input. Here is the fan and the other arrangements, this is for the beginner only. So ATX power supply for the PC, and here is the whatsoever 24 pin connector. Before they were 20 pin, nowadays they are 24 pin. So here we are going to try to switch it on, but it is not coming switch on. The reason is the PC, the complaint for this power supply was the PC was dead, it was not giving any output. And I'm going to show you how to check this, how to test it, this thing. Using a multimeter you can test this thing, but not 100%, not fully, but instead up to some extent you can understand this, and you can test it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the multimeter selector switch to voltage. Here now it is on voltage, you can see of course the DC voltage, and DC voltage is showing over here on the screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check the voltage on any of the output of this power supply. Here is the output. This is yellow wire, this is 12 volt, and the red wire, of course, this is 5 volt, and in between two black wires they are grounds. So I'm going to put my ground probe on the ground for the meter, and of course the other one, which is red one, I'm going to put it on the yellow or green or red, so that I will get the voltage reading. So on the yellow it should be 12 volt. So I'm going now on the yellow, and then afterwards I have to switch this thing on, and of course I will put a jumper and 2 pins, so that I will show these 2 pins to you from where this power supply will be switched on, as the computer is switching on this power supply through a software. That also important to know to make it switch on. And here is the power, of course. I'm going to switch on this thing, electrify this thing, and then afterwards I will see the voltage reading for this one. And this is not switch on now, only electrical power I provided to the power supply. Here you can see this is the green wire on the connector, and close to this is something black, 2 blacks. You can see many blacks are there. So one of the black and green, I have to short them with a piece of wire like this, or with a piece of paper clip you can use even. So then while this will be shorted, this will switch on the power supply. So shorting this will provide me 12 volt power. You can see there is a change in the reading on the meter, and also I'm listening to the, maybe camera will not pick, but I'm listening to the whistling sound from the power supply. So here you can see there is a change. There is a change on the multimeter, you can see, but this is not 12 volt. You can see 12 volt is not coming. So there is some problem with this power supply, and for this evaluation of the problem, what I have to do is this is not switching on actually, I have to use my oscilloscope to evaluate this problem. So oscilloscope I am going to connect on the same wires, ground and positive and ground, because these are the whatsoever transients are there. So this transient I am going to look at what is going on. So by this way I'm just going to put my 2 leads to connect my oscilloscope easily, ground and 12 volt of course. And here on these 2 wires I'm just connecting my oscilloscope probe, red on the positive and ground for ground, like this. And then afterwards what I have to do is I have to switch on this power supply, and will show you on the oscilloscope screen what is going on. So here is the reflection. I'm just avoiding the reflection to some extent. You can see So here at this point I am going to short the power supply green and black to switch it on, and you will see what is going on the screen, oscilloscope screen. So you can see the voltage is swinging, it is trying to come on and then dying down. So this is the situation you can see on the oscilloscope screen. I am switching on and off. Now it's completely switch on, but there is nothing, 0 volt you can see, and while removing it's the same way. And also I have to give you a sound from a power supply. I'm going making camera close to the power supply so that you will listen to the whistling of the power supply. So this whistling is showing something. The problem is there in the power supply. What I'm suspecting is there will be a short circuit. There will be a short circuit on the output stage. So that short circuit we will see in a moment while I will open this cover of the power supply. So here is the power supply covered off. You can see here this is for beginner actually. This is something, you know, the input section. Here are the 2 capacitors for input, here are the transistors, and of course there is the power supply. This is the main and here is the secondary power supplies. So here are these switching transistors for, and of course there will be these are the switching transistor, and this will be the rectifier. And here in the output stage you can see this is the output stage from where this bulky cable is coming off. This is what is the output stage, which is giving power to the computer. Just I'm going to remove it and will show you the inside. Here you can see this choke is burnt. This is a burnt choke, and here these capacitors just bulged top capacitors. You can see so many capacitors, 1 2 3 4 5 6 5, total in 5 in number. 5 capacitors had been bulged, all capacitors, and this output choke had been burnt. You can see this went black. This before I also replaced one to solve the problem for another power supply, and here is also the case is repeated. So this is a short in the output stage. That's why the supply was trying to switch on, and then the protection circuit inside here was protecting the power supply from switching on because there was a dead short in the output. So we are going to remove this short by replacing this choke as well as the capacitors. Choke I will replace from another power supply which is with me, and sometimes I will show how to rewind this choke. We can rewind it and reuse the core as we will change the winding for, and then we can rewind and reuse this choke as well. So here I will just replace it because I am restoring this power supply as soon as possible, because this is for one of my friends. So I'm showing the procedure afterwards after changing these capacitors. Here is what you can see. After replacing 4 capacitors, these were before 5, but I omitted one, and I put a double capacitor over here, 2200 microfarad. Before it was 1002 were there in parallel, so I put one as I had one. So this is 16 volt, and 4 capacitors, all bad, I replaced, and now there is no bulging, you can see. And here is of course this output coil which was bad also. I did not replace it, instead I wind it, and here you can see I have a bunch of wires. Just these wires come off of this winding, and I just rewind this coil as I had some time to do it, so I did it, and of course it worked. And now I'm going to switch it on in front of you, and we'll see. Now as you can see the power is there, and just I have to put the jumper in so that the power supply will switch on, and we'll show you on the meter also. So here now I'm going to put the jumper in, as this power is on now, and jumper is going to be put in between the green and black to switch it on. So now you can see it is going something. This jumper is actually a little bit tricky to put it in, coming off. Yeah, now it's okay. So 12.5 volt, 12.52 volt you can see on the 12 volt rail, and now I'm going to check for the 5 volt rail to confirm the health of the power supply. So here is what I'm connected on 5 volt, and this is showing something 5.15 which is also within the specs. So this is what was our repair on this particular power supply, and I'm going to show you the fan also. Here is the blower fan, you can listen. This was also bad for this power supply. I just replaced this one, and this was the repair for this particular power supply. I just did not show everything to you because I changed so many capacitors. The winding I made, maybe I will be in some video, if I will be encountered to same problem, I will show how to rewind this toroid. And these were the capacitors, something, not all, but some are new also, some are bad, I just removed from. And at the moment I don't have the ESR meter, so that I have to check everything and show you. So thank you for watching, keep on watching, subscribe and like.